High times for pot activists in Canada. A new poll finds that most Canadians think growing or smoking marijuana should not be a crime. 65% want pot legalized and taxed, or at least decriminalized in small amounts. But only a small percentage favor the status quo or want tougher laws. The Harper government has imposed longer sentences and mandatory jail time for growing 6 or more pot plants. Colorado and Washington state voters legalized pot in Election Day plebiscites. Jodie Emery is the owner of Cannabis Culture magazine and an activist for marijuana legalization. She is joining us tonight from Vancouver. Welcome back to our program.
Thanks for having me again.
So you say there's lots of money to be made in taxes by legalizing pot. Tell us about that.
Well, we know that millions of Canadians enjoy using marijuana, and the only way to get it is from the criminal underground in one way or another, because it's illegal. The majority of Canadians, as you said, do want it to be legal, but they have to spend their money, $10 a gram, which is expensive, on pot, and it isn't going into the taxed revenue stream that it should be. And not only that, but taxpayers are spending millions and millions of dollars every year on drug law enforcement, court costs, prison. A lot of money is spent on prohibition laws, and Canadians want it to be legal. They don't want their money wasted.
Okay, other than the money, what is the case to be made for legalization?
Well, we know that alcohol prohibition only resulted in two things. Criminals made a lot of money and taxpayers lost a lot of money. People were put in danger, law enforcement was endangered. It made everything a lot worse. Right now, if you get arrested for marijuana possession or marijuana selling or growing, you're going to be unable to travel to the United States. You might lose your job, you could lose your kids, your home. There are a lot of negative repercussions for encountering the law with respect to marijuana. And we know that, again, Canadians don't want that to be the way that we treat people for marijuana use. You shouldn't ever punish anyone if they aren't hurting anyone else. And there are a lot of harmful things out there, but we don't throw people in jail for them.
And yet the argument will be made by some in the medical community that smoking pot is harmful to your health.
Well, we know that smoking cigarettes is harmful, so is alcohol. Fatty foods, salt and sugar, driving cars can be dangerous. Riding a bike without a helmet can be dangerous. Peanuts actually kill people every year. But again, we don't put people in prison for choosing to use or engage in any kind of activity. We treat them if they have problems with it. We educate them about responsible use. So with respect to marijuana, instead of locking people up or putting them in handcuffs, we need to put it in a taxed and regulated system where people who are interested can get safe, responsible access and information with respect to marijuana.
But again, I mean, you sit in a grade 9 health class and they're going to talk about how marijuana is a gateway drug that often leads to harder, more dangerous drug use.
Well, I would think it's safer to say alcohol is probably the gateway drug. A lot of young people use alcohol first, and in fact, a lot of them will eat junk food first. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to move on to hard drugs. We know millions of Canadians use marijuana or have used it, and they're not all injecting heroin, they're not all snorting cocaine. People use marijuana safely and responsibly all the time. But again, for those who do have problems, we need to give them education and treatment and the help that they ask for. We shouldn't be using the criminal law to punish people for making bad decisions about their personal health.
Okay, Jodie, I have about 30 seconds left for this next answer, but are you looking to your neighbors in the South? I mean, in a couple of U.S. states, as we mentioned in the introduction, they have said, yeah, we think it should be legal. Would you like to see the same thing then happen and bring this attention to Premier Christy Clark or on the lap of the federal government?
Absolutely. They need to pay attention. The majority of our citizens want marijuana legalization. We don't want our money wasted. We want sane, rational policy. And the Harper government is not doing that. They're going the absolute opposite. Canadians are frustrated and upset. Christy Clark should endorse the Sensible BC campaign to decriminalize marijuana, similar to what Washington and Colorado did, but only as far as we're able to go. So organizations like sensiblebc.ca and stoptheviolencebc.org are working to change our laws, to treat people with respect, to stop wasting our money, and to work towards greater community safety for everybody.
Jodie Emery, thank you very much.